The readings call us to encounter Jesus and to keep our encounters alive. What does it mean to encounter? An encounter is an unexpected, casual, or significant meeting with someone or something. An encounter is something that's very special, and it can also be something very tragic. Can remember, this goes way back to my college days. I met this one girl by the name of Ann Teagarden, who happens now to be my wife. And upon meeting her, it was just kind of, she was like one of the other girls. And so I ran around with my buddies, and she ran around with her friends. But her friends and her and my friends and me, we all kind of ran around together. There was a whole group of us, guys and gals, that we did a lot of different things together on campus, and supportive things and fun things, and just went to parties together and different things like that, things you do at college. So anyway, eventually I started getting to like her a little bit more, and anyway, it was Christmas, getting close to Christmas time, and I needed to find somebody to go with me to the sweetheart dance in February. So I didn't know who to ask. So I finally just asked her to go, and she said yes. So that was pretty cool. So anyway, we got back from Christmas vacation. We talked a little bit and kind of, reconnected, knowing we was going to be going together to the sweetheart dance. So eventually I even started holding her hand a little bit and walking with her. Some, not too much, but a little bit. So we went to the sweetheart dance, and after that, we started walking, maybe even holding hands a little more. And we went to, but there was something about her that I was really, there was something about her that really, truly interested me in her. So we went to a movie one night. It was called Love Story, with Ali McGraw and Ryan O'Neal. And the way the movie went, the story is these two college kids, so we identified tremendously with them, that they fell in love with each other, and they did everything together and did different things. And she eventually, I think it was leukemia, she got leukemia, and she progressed. I can't remember if they got married or not. I think they might have, I'm not sure. But eventually she died. And that really done something to us, because that really got us thinking. And that right after that movie, we went out in the Cove, which is an area by the lake at our college, and sat on a picnic table, and for hours and hours we talked and we cried, and we emptied our hearts to each other. We truly encountered each other. An encounter, once again, is a significant meeting. Even though it may have been casual to begin with, became a significant meeting. It was unexpected. Totally, we did not expect that, and through that encounter, it changed my life and it changed her life. It kind of went from me to we, and the same with her. It went from her to we, and then for the two of us, it went from she and I to us. And then later on, we ended up getting married. It was about a year later that we did get married. What an encounter that was for the two of us. I think Jesus had a very big part in it, bringing us together and letting us know. And with an encounter, it can start off very simple, and then all of a sudden. I'll tell you of another encounter, not that I had, but one of the people that I visit, I've mentioned him before, and he wants me to talk about him because he truly wants to be here with everyone. But he has ALS, and he cannot be here. But he wants to be a witness also to everyone. So now when I first started visiting him, he would be in his wheelchair that he could control with his fingers, and it would go the way he wants, and he'd even do a few wheelies, and he could do some neat things, move his hands and move around. But now he is totally in bed. They keep him propped up and it's so distorted the way he's laying, but it's comfortable for him, and it's how he has no muscles. Basically, his muscles have totally deteriorated with that dreadful disease. But they've got a TV screen or a monitor that's placed near him, and it kind of matches his usual position and a certain distance from him. And what he can do, since he can no longer talk, he can hardly swallow. Since he can no longer talk, he focuses one eye on a letter, and it's got the alphabet and some words. He focuses on that, and from there, it takes a little while for a letter to pop up there, and sometimes it just wanders around, and it takes a long time. It's very difficult to sit there and watch him struggling, even trying to talk or make a sentence. And sometimes some days he'll whip out a sentence in 30 seconds, and some days it might be 5 minutes. But I found that he wants to do the talking. He doesn't want to start and then me finish it for him. He wants to say himself what he wants to say, which I think is really beautiful. He wants to use the gifts that God has given him to his fullest. He wants to be the best person that he can be. So we have all kinds of good talks, though. And we can do a lot of nonverbal communication as well. But anyway, he had a very deep encounter with Jesus. When he first got ALS, he was away from the church. He hadn't gone to church for a long time. I didn't check into what he was like prior to that. But I know he just didn't have God in his life, I don't think, for a while, even though he was brought up Catholic. So he had a tremendous encounter, and he still encounters God very much. He just longs to receive Holy Communion. So I'm able to give him just the tiniest little piece. He wants the whole thing, but he would choke, and I wouldn't want to hurt him or anything. So just the smallest piece, not stick it on his tongue, and he receives it. He longs for that. And he spends a lot of hours with God. He encounters Jesus very much. And then today, that's encountering Jesus through our suffering. So that's another example. Through loving, through suffering. Today, we heard of Zacchaeus. And his story also, we heard that story. Zacchaeus, the little short guy that climbed up the tree. If you can imagine that guy, what did Jesus think walking through there and seeing some guy up in a tree? But then he looked at him and said, Zacchaeus, come down, for today I would like to stay at your home. And Zacchaeus came down, and he said yes, and everybody else grumbled about it, if we can remember. And Zacchaeus made a pledge, or he told Jesus, he said to him that he would give half of his stuff to the poor, and that all the times that he did wrong to other people, he would repay them 4 times over. So Jesus did forgive him. So that was truly an encounter. First of all, an encounter that Jesus had with Zacchaeus. I can imagine Jesus looking up in that tree, knowing what was going to happen, knowing that he was really a sinner and out there and just ripping people off and doing all these things. But then he was inquisitive enough that he made himself available up in that tree, and Jesus looked at him, and I'm sure he had a tremendous smile for Zacchaeus, and as just knowing what had taken place. So it's for that reason, I think Zacchaeus, and we don't know, it doesn't say. Did Zacchaeus follow through with what he told Jesus he was going to do? Money can be something, you can say something like that, and then a few days later, no, you're back to your old things of not wanting to let go or whatever. But I think I have faith that Zacchaeus did. And he's probably in heaven right there along with Jesus now, up in a sycamore tree even. Who knows? So anyway, we cannot force encounters, though. We cannot force encounters. How many of you have encountered Jesus? I'm sure everyone has in one way or another. Those special. Remember, an encounter is an unexpected or casual or significant meeting. So I'm sure that there's been times that Jesus has truly met you in your mind or in your heart or in your action or through someone or somehow you have encountered Jesus. Encounters are unplanned and unexpected. Yet we can recognize them and we respond to them. We are called to respond to them with excitement or maybe fear. Sometimes we respond in fear, but to respond and then commit to them, that's what Jesus wants us to do, because he does encounter us first. And a lot of times we don't even realize that he is encountering us. Sometimes not until afterwards. Sometimes, just like the meeting with my wife, that's a very special night out in the cove on that picnic table. I don't think I really thought, I was thinking of Jesus at the time, but it didn't take long after, and we talked about that too, and I continue to, I know that Jesus brought the two of us together and just increased our love so greatly. So we are called then to encounter Jesus, and how do we do so? We do so in our sufferings and joys and tragedies and life and death, when we do service with another, or we meet someone special, or in creation. We also encounter Jesus, or can encounter him in our prayer, in the Eucharist, in adoration, in the sacraments, or anytime that Jesus encounters us and we are receptive to him. We cultivate these opportunities also to encounter Jesus. You know, we can't determine when Jesus is going to encounter us, and he is the one that leads us. So we can't say, okay, Jesus, I'm ready to encounter you now, come on. It doesn't work that way. But yet we can cultivate opportunities for that through retreats or our groups, like we have the ladies group, the Mary's Way group, we've got the Nazarite men, we've got the King's men, we've got all kinds of groups. And then we've got our ministries, and they work together in their groups, and the Ladies Society, and the picnics, and getting things. All these different things are just openings for encountering Jesus and finding Jesus in another person. Or different talks that we might go to, or like the E6 when we go to that, and like Mary's Way. Also funerals. If you come to a funeral mass, very often you will encounter Jesus. Nursing homes. Go to a nursing home or a hospital. Go into the cemetery and spend some time. Faith formation. Often then, because maybe not during the faith formation session, but you go back and you start reflecting. Bible studies, ministries, and then reach out to one another. All of these are good opportunities to encounter Jesus. You know, at Mass is one of the great ones where we encounter Jesus. Our encounters with God can truly become a love story, just like the love story that I and Annie have and continue to have in our commitment to each other. Love story is the new Christ that Jeffrey sees, or that the person I was talking about with ALS, that he sees, you know, and he finds God in his life every day as he continues to enjoy life and make the best, to become the best he can be with his limitations. So we thank God. We believe in him. We have faith in him. He forgives us, and we ask him for mercy. We give him thanks. We glorify him. And we heard about all these in the other readings today. We encounter him, and we empty ourselves as he did for us. A true love story. A true love story as he also gave himself for us. We recognize and remember those encounters that we have with him, and we remember them and regurgitate them and relive them frequently.